Jai Hind viewers, on behalf of Sri Shakti Defense Academy, I welcome you all on this show. It's a great day today, being 8th of October, and it's an Air Force Day, and nothing could have been better speaking to or taking interview or in conversation with a topmost Air Force officer who had an excellent career. Today we have with us Air Marshal Amit Tiwari, PVSM, AVSM, VM. In fact, it's proud privilege to have you, sir. A great Jai Hind to you, sir. And
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me for your show.
thank you, sir. And on this occasion of 8th of October, I wish you a very, very happy Air Force Day, sir. Today is the 91st anniversary of Air Force. So wish you all the very best. I'm very sure Air Force will keep streaming high, sir.
Thank you, sir. With all your blessings, with everyone's support, I'm very sure the Air Force will touch the sky with glory.
And rightfully, the motto as such of this 91st anniversary has been set as Nabham Sparsham and Dibyam. So that's an excellent way, sir. And bilkul sahi kiya. And on this historic day, it's another event which is going to happen. That is the release of the new insignia. With the good Ashoka line and with the Himalayan eagle, with that Bhagavad Gita being mounted. So tomorrow today evening we'll come to know a lot of details of it. Of course, wish you a very happy Air Force Day, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for sparing your time and being with us on the Air Force Day with all our viewers. Okay, viewers, before we move ahead, I'll request you all to please subscribe for our channel so that you don't miss out in future also. All our good releases, good conversations. I'm sure you will learn a lot, and don't forget to press like. Sir, I will start. Something before your commissioning. Tell the viewers something about your life before you joined the Indian Air Force. Sir.
Sir, I've been born and brought up in Uttar Pradesh. My father was a civil engineer. He used to work for PWD. And it is my parents who kind of motivated me, although unknowingly, to join Air Force. This 71 war was there, and I was a small kid. I think in 6th, 7th class I was there. But then the parents used to make sure that both me and my brother, all four of us, used to sit and read the newspaper on daily basis, listen to the radio on daily basis. In fact, my parents had made a collage, not collage, a kind of album where all the cuttings were kept. And they also showed me the cuttings which they had kept from the 65 war. So everyone's name was there, a Trevor Killer, a Danger Killer, or the good, very respected Air Force pilots who shot down all the saber jets and all. So right from that age, this thought was there in mind that I must join Air Force and I must fly the aircraft.
Oh, that's great.
So when the age came when I finished my class 12th and I decided to join NDA, although parents were not very happy initially because us is a family of engineers or doctors and all.
So वही line करने के लिए चाह रहे होंगे वो लोग.
Yes, they wanted me to join the same profession kind of thing. But then I insisted, no, I must go. And then they supported my whatever I wanted to do. And that's how I went and joined India in 1978.
Oh, that's great, sir. That's great, sir. And before viewers, we move ahead, I'll tell now something more about the Air Marshal. Air Marshal Amit Tiwari. I mean, he's an alumni of India, rightfully brought out by himself, and thereafter Air Force Academy, and was commissioned in the Indian Air Force as a fighter pilot in June 1982. I mean, he's also a qualified flying instructor and has a flying experience of almost more than 3,500 hours on the various types of fighter aircraft. He has, in fact, literally flown all the fighter aircraft which are existing in the inventory of the Air Force. In his career, he has held several appointments and positions, which included the team leader of the great, those aerobatic Surya Kiran aerobatic squadron. And he was also the station commander of a forward base and he happens to be the air attache at the Indian Embassy in Afghanistan. I mean, we'll be talking about that in detail subsequently in our interview. As well as he was the air defense commander and a senior officer in charge of the administration at an operational command. His other appointments include Assistant Chief of Air Staff for the training at the Air Headquarters and Commandant of the Air Force Academy, where the Air Force pilots are trained, in fact. And of course, the prestigious appointment he was holding the air officer in charge of personnel at the air headquarters, VayuSena Bhawan. And the two great appointments, the topmost, that was he was the AOC-in-C of the Southern Air Command in New Delhi, and of course, prior to his retirement, he was AOC-in-C of the Central Air Command at Prayagraj, where this year's Air Force Day is being celebrated. So great to have you, sir, on this show. With that background, let me move a little ahead. And of course, I mean, before you went to the NDA, you must have appeared for the SSB. Tell me, in those days, of course, I mean, we never had that stage one, that screening thing. Where was the SSB held, sir, and how difficult was it in those days?
So before I delve into my SSB memories, I must also tell your viewers that I know General Singh from 1991. And this for everyone's information that we did a course together, a flying instructors course. And he was the first army officer to win the gold medal out there. And I am Air Force pilot, but he is an excellent aviator and the finest person that I have met. Now coming back to
those days of memories, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Now, sir, coming back to my SSB days, I appeared for NDA and got I got a SSB call, and SSB was to be held at Varanasi. My parents used to stay that time in Lucknow, so it was not very difficult. I had relatives in Varanasi, so went there, stayed with them, and one day in the evening, they dropped me at the AFSB, and that's the SSB started. I was like any other kid of that age. I studied in government inter college. I hardly knew any English, because the English in government inter college used to start around class 6 or something, and 12th just barely managed to know that one could write, but conversation part was difficult. So, and because I was from civil background, and my mother used to feed me a lot, so I was nice and healthy and quite a chubby person at that time.
Right.
So when I went there and they started taking the exam, I still remember the first was some intelligence course where they showed different clocks and showing different timing and things like that. It was easy because a little bit of maths was involved and just about some kind of situational awareness was involved. But when we came, the person who was taking the interview, subsequently in Air Force, I was told he is known as GTI or something. But that time I didn't know. He used to talk to me in English. And I kept telling him, no, please talk to me in Hindi and I can explain the same thing to you in much better fashion in Hindi in case you speak in Hindi. And he said, no, nothing doing. You speak in English. Okay, whatever you want to say, you speak in English, even if it is grammatically wrong, but then speak in English. And then finally I gave up and we conversed in English. The only thing which I still remember very distinctly, that because I was fat, and when this physical exercise started, I could not do very many of them. But the only thing that I did, that I never stopped. When they said, okay, finish this course, and then I started jumping from here or trying to climb some rope or climb up the tree and then catch a rope and come down. I fell a lot many times. But the moment I fell, I again got up and ran towards the next obstacle or something. So I think this was one where I never gave up on anything. Probably made me go through the SSB.
In fact, that was the quality which they caught. I mean, you see, इंस्पायर ठीक है, गिरते हैं, गिर के संवरते हैं सब दुनिया में। और असली लीडरशिप वही है सर, इन केस यू कैन don't one doesn't give up. That's the best part. That's a great. In fact, all the viewers, please do take a note of this good experience. Thank you
Yes,
very much, sir, for sharing with us those SSB times.
yes.
In your sir, career, of course, I mean, I've heard in your data also that you have flown most of the aircrafts which are there. And you must have had a different experience once you fly, let's say a Mega or once you fly a Sukhoi. Tell us, I mean, which is the best sortie you liked in the fighters which you have flown? I mean, which aircraft you felt more comfortable? ये वाली sort ये वो आज तक हम नहीं भूले कभी.
See, I must tell you, Air Force makes it sure that whichever aircraft you fly, you're fully comfortable. If you are not comfortable, they will not let you fly the aircraft. But I'll say I've flown my fighter flying started with Hunter, and then we graduated on to Ajit. Ajit was my first aircraft, and when I say first aircraft, it was first love also. I'm myself am not very tall. I'm just about 5 feet 6 inch, and the Ajit was the smallest fighter in the world. The smallest fighter. Ajit was advanced version of NAT, which is a British aircraft, and in 65 war, NAT did shoot a lot of Sabre jets, which everyone knows. So I used to fly Ajit, and I really loved that aircraft. In fact, subsequently, when we changed over to more potent aircraft on MiG-27, I felt bad about Ajit. The aircraft was so small and the cockpit was so small that once you sit inside the cockpit, you feel that the entire aircraft is just extension of you. You're just sitting on the engine, and if I have to look left, I just look left. I can see the whole world. I can look right. I can see the whole world. I just have to move my elbow and I can operate switches on the left, or elbow I can operate switches on the right. It was that compact thing. And I can see the guns which are fitted on the both side. I could see the bombs which are fitted. It was just the extension of body. Kids these days watch those cartoons where human being become a rocket and start moving and fly. It was something like that. So I did fly many more potent aircraft. But when you say which was the best, which I miss most, was Ajit.
Okay. I mean, of course, that was your first love also. So great. I mean, it would experience would have been totally different. ऐसा लग रहा होगा जैसे ग्लास के उसमें बैठे, चारों तरफ से तो सब कुछ नजर आ रहा है. And with that compact, lovely, sir. And flying that time, I wish I could have joined the Air Force. I mean, though I also cleared the PABT in my first this thing after giving the SSB interview for Army, and then I was my second choice was the Air Force. So, but anyway, never missed it because बाद में हमने as it is I joined the Army Aviation.
Then you wouldn't have become the first person to get the gold medal in flying instructor school.
Yes, that history wouldn't have been broken. And sir, to tell you, since we are on this topic, just on the later side, I mean, it was sir, एक बारी और history ये हुई. It happened to be with the now, of course, Brigadier Nambiar. He was my pupil, sir, after I became a flying instructor in 91. And he again created the same history where he got the best in flying at the FIS Tamrat, sir. So that's right. So anyway, sir, let's move ahead. Sir, you are a qualified flying instructor also, and we have done the same course in this January to June 1991. I mean, of course, I mean, what was your मतलब कैसे यार? Did you wanted to become, or is it that कि सबको बनना ही पड़ता है? कैसे होता है सर Air Force में?
Sir, Air Force में we have two courses. After one gets certain experience in flying in his squadron and get certain qualification, like you become a 2 aircraft leader or you become a 4 aircraft leader, you get some kind of instrument rating, green or master green. Then one is considered for these courses. One course is flying instructors course, where you teach the ab initio people how to fly. And the other one is a fighter combat leader or fighter strike leader course, where you teach your squadron types only how to fight a war. So the choice was between these two, and I always wanted, and somehow Air Force sent me also there for this flying instructor school where you can teach a initio how to fly. It is like something like a father when he is taking a small child and holding his hand and teaching him how to walk. And it is the child is very small and he doesn't know if he falls that then he'll get hurt. So you need to be that much more careful.
And it's a lot of satisfaction also. So जैसे हम लोग अपने बच्चों को बड़ा करते हैं वैसा ही you feel really great once he goes for this first solo. I mean that's the best satisfaction one gets कि देखो हो जा रहा है हमारा शेर.
The person who is going for first solo, he himself is apprehensive. I also did a first solo quite some time back. But as an instructor, I realized when a person goes for first solo, forget about him. His instructor's heart also keeps comes to the mouth and starts palpitating there. You're so worried, so concerned. You're responsible. Other than the aircraft, you're responsible for a human being. You're responsible to his parents. So we take so much of caution in teaching people and making sure that yes, they are really fit and can bring the aircraft and themselves back. Only then they.
ओनली आपका देन इंस्ट्रक्टर एक क्लियर भी तभी करता है सर सोलो के लिए फर्स्ट सोलो के लिए 100% श्योर कि ये जो है कंफर्टेबली ये टेक ऑफ कर जाएगा एंड ही विल बी एबल टू मैनेज एंड मैनेज द लैंडिंग पार्ट व्हिच इज द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट पार्ट इन द ओवरऑल फ्लाइंग आई वुड से ओके सर इन योर कैरियर सच अ लॉन्ग कैरियर इस देश के लिए आई मीन you would have participated in various operations, actual operations which Indian Armed Forces have fought over the years. I mean, could you recollect, sir, can you give us some of your experiences where you have actually participated in those operations, sir?
Sir, actually, I'm from the fighter background and we really didn't fight any war other than Kargil, I can say, on the later thing, and before that it was a 71 war. But then I did take part in two massive exercises which were just on the verge of fighting. That was in 1987 we had Operation Brass Tacks when General Sundarji was there. That time I used to fly Ajits, and then in 2001 December till 2002 we had this Op Parakram where we were deployed, sir. At that time I was flying MiG-27s. So in both the times it is a kind of josh which cannot be explained to people. What happened, what went through your mind, because the only thing that we were preparing as a professional, these are my target, this is the aircraft. And what happens when you go for these kind of preparation, wherever you are deployed, for first few days you go and fly in that area so that you get familiar with that area, our own territory. You get familiar with the place, that runway, those facilities out there, and thereafter you sit down, prepare the aircraft, prepare your gun sights, everything, so that the day the clearance comes, you can fly at the same on that day or that moment or that second and can go and do the job. Both these places we are fully ready, fully prepared, but by God's grace we didn't have to fight the war and the problem resolved upon its own.
And that it was called off at the last minute. In fact, I remember जब आपका उधर ये आप तैयारी कर रहे थे, that time I was commanding a unit in Parkian Gali in Kupwara sector. I mean, we were all tied up. We were almost into the, you can say, the assembly area, forward assembly area. The troops were in the forward assembly area. And the day, I mean, we were just bubbling कि कब जाएंगे इस चोटी के ऊपर. But then everything was called off and it was delayed for some other time, which never came actually. Okay, sir. Sir, air power, is considered to be very flexible as far as its employment is concerned. And when there are no boundaries, I mean, whether you are from the Western Air Command or Eastern Air Command, or Central Air Command. So, what are your formation? Let's say the latest restructuring of the armed forces is being done with a lot of jointness to bring in jointness into the thing. The formation of the integrated theater command, sir. We like to know your views on this, sir. How the future war will be fought with this type of doctrine and the restructuring which is taking place, sir. And what will be the role of air power in that, sir?
Sir, here my views are my personal views, and they may differ with the
Of course, absolutely.
organizational view,
Yes.
and will 100% differ with the army's views or your views.
No, no,
The thing, so the thing is, air power came somewhere close to 1911. Sir. And from 1911, when this first time the air power came, most of the aviators were army officers.
sir.
All the theorists of air power of say Lord Trenchard or Billy Mitchell or Dewey, they were all army officers. And from that time onwards, it was thought that by the people who are not in the aviation, that air power should not be independent. It should be part of army or part of navy. Okay. Whereas all these three army officers and still all the Air Force people quote these three people, they said that air power should be independent. It should not be used in piecemeal manner, and it should be centralized kind of thing. Those theories are still valid.
Correct.
When people say theater command means the everyone should fight together with the enemy in that theater. Now,
Yes.
if you look at the aircraft that we have today, Su-30, Mirage, Jaguar, Rafale, these aircraft are almost at par with what the aircraft US has. Okay. Now, if you look at US Theater Command, that Pacific Command, I think the area that they cover must be more than 10 times of what is India's size. Much more than 10 times. I have really not calculated. Even if you look the Chinese Theater Command, the entire India, the Chinese theater which is facing us, I think India will come 2 times in that area. Size or this thing. The aircraft being of the same capability, if we put 2 or 3 theaters in the same this thing, it is like putting a sumo boxer in a small room where he can't flex his hands and thing and say, okay, you fight. Okay. The second part is India is not that, the Indian Air Force is not that big where it can be divided in 3 parts and then still can fight.
And you dedicatedly for different things.
Different. We have, say, tankers, we have few tankers, we have few AVACs, we have few electronic warfare aircraft. If everything is together, we fly as a composite force because all these aircraft are required together to fight a war. But if some of the, say, electronic warfare aircraft is in one command, the strike aircraft is another command, the air defense aircraft is another command, and then if you want to join them at the last moment and fight, things may not be that. And there's a live example of this when people compare it with the Gulf War and all that, see how effective. But if you remember Gulf War, there was no comparison as far as the forces are concerned between US forces and the Iraqi forces, or US forces and Yugoslavian forces, or US forces and Afghan forces. There was no comparison. So that is a wrong lesson. But if you see what is happening in Ukraine, Russian Air Force was working in an integrated manner with the army. They didn't follow this principle that first you have to get the command of the air. When the war started, first Russian Air Force started attacking, but within a day, Russian army also started moving in. By then, the command of the air was not achieved. And the Air Force was told that you stop that operation and you start helping out the people in the close air support or border area. The Russian Air Force was not that big that it could handle both the works at the same time. With the result, what happened? Neither the army could be held, nor they had the command of the air. By then, the Ukrainians had sufficient reaction time. They could get all the air defense missile, and the war is still on.
In fact, ये मेरा भी major observation है in the Russia-Ukraine war में, the amount of air superiority which actually Russian Air Force had, I mean, as compared to Ukraine, I mean, still it was just not utilized. And they look at the way it happened in Gulf War.
Because they were not.
preparation जो है किया गया through the Air Force, and that is the time when degradation काफी हद तक है. That's the time when the army moved in, and that's how it should have been done. I don't know.
So, in Gulf War, good about 40 days or something, the Air Force was given free hand to go and bomb. And
Absolutely.
after that, the entire operation, once the bombing started, after that, the entire operation got over in 100 hours.
Correct.
100 hours and 35 days or something of bombing, 100 hours. Here, the Russian Air Force was not given time. They were still working towards gaining the air superiority, striking their bases and missiles. When they were told, no, move back and start helping because the army is moving and the weather was not good, so the vehicles were getting bogged down and getting attacked. So they started helping out. Neither they could get the this thing air superiority, or now they could help.
Correct, correct. I mean, that's a great thing. And then naturally, sir, जहाँ तक वो integration का सवाल है, in fact, मेरा भी observation right from शुरू से यही रहा है. I mean, I have been a gunner, so I'm preparing, you know, those support plans, the artillery support plan, उसमें air का भी होता है सबसे पहले. And every formation commander is told, नहीं नहीं मेरे को ये बतलाओ कितनी fighter bomber missions है. हमने कहा सर आप इसको छोड़ दीजिए. You tell us क्या effect चाहिए आपको. Leave it to the Air Force. I mean, they will come and give you the result. अगर आप बोले कि मेरे को डेडिकेटेड उसमें वो चाहिए, हो सकता है भाई वो न उससे अचीव हो पाए, या अगर कैपेबिलिटी और अगर ज्यादा की है with less number of it, why not? So I mean, maybe the thinking have been in fact actually that, and with the amount of हमारे पास सर boundaries हैं कितनी बड़ी, how big is India? With the centralized use of the Air Force or the air power, I mean, we can achieve wonders as compared to compartmentalizing them for that, because interoperability sir होनी बहुत जरूरी है air power. Flexible arm.
What you brought up, sir, is very important. Air Force is fights a effect-based operation.
Yes,
you tell what effect you want, and that effect will be given. After that, you leave it that the effect was brought from MiG-21 or it was brought from Su-30 or Rafale. How did you get it? The second thing, the difference between Army and Air Force fighting is Army fights the enemy which is right in front. It is on the border. The Air Force fights the will of the enemy to fight, the capability of the enemy to fight. We don't really go in and start shooting at individual this thing. We will make sure the enemy will not have capability to fight. Will destroy all his logistic facility, all his communication thing. His will to fight will blow up his ammunition dump, etc. He doesn't have will or capability to fight. That is the way Air Force fights. So this is the basic thing which both the services need to understand, and then only we can use it in the most optimum and effective manner.
Correct. And with that, so we now move on to our next thing, which has again been a controversial type, you know, the holding of the attack helicopters with the Air Force. जब Army Aviation बना था, they also now demanded कि नहीं, the attack helicopters have to operate in conjunction with the, you know, mechanized formations and the mechanized forces. So best integration उसमें ये होगा. So again, sir, अभी यहाँ पर भी वही चीज हो रहा है कि it is held with a more flexible arm, more flexible way of employment. Again, उसको जो है वो किया जा रहा है. So I mean, I know what answer you'll be giving, sir, with the attack helicopters best utilized with the Air Force रहेगा कि Army Aviation रहेगा when it comes to the operational roles, not peacetime.
Sir, I was in Afghanistan also, like what you mentioned, and in Afghanistan the most effective unit was were Marines, US Marines. Okay, so there's a province in Afghanistan called Helmand Province. And that there was one British Camp Bastion. British was supposed to look after Helmand Province, but British couldn't move out of the camp because of the Taliban presence. So now US Marine were called, and now US Marine, unlike US Army, they had their integrated air arm with them. They had aircraft, earlier aircraft, now it is phased out. AV-8P, which is a Harrier version, which can do the vertical takeoff and landing. And they also have all kind of attack helicopters. So when they came, they just ran over the entire Helmand province within 3 or 4 days. Taliban just ran away from there, and they neutralized everyone, handed it over again to British. British again couldn't hold it. 6 months later, Marines were again called and Marines again pushed out the Taliban. So I have seen this attack helicopter and all working very closely and very effectively. I'm all for that the army, in case they feel there is a requirement, they should have an attack helicopter integrated properly for the job that is required. Air Force feels in case they want to have a attack helicopter for say some radar busting or something else, then they also must have. There is no this thing that okay you are having so I can't have or I am having so you should not have the thing.
Yeah.
There should be a pop at the end of it. It is a national asset. It should be controlled properly. It should not be wasted. The other part which will come because the Marines also have phased out their AV-8B. They don't have it. Now the war, the way it is changing. Now every second or third soldier has got a shoulder launched missile with him. So any kind of helicopter, anything which is moving in the battle area and is moving for say more than 10 or 15 seconds visible to people, it is a good target. So we need to really think Army as well as Air Force how effective will be the attack helicopter in a near peer contest.
Correct.
In case you are going for say some insurgency etc., it is a very good this thing. Insurgent may not have those kind of advanced missiles and all, and not in those many numbers. But now the time has come for these drones and all the small drones and all. We must concentrate how to fly these drones, how to keep them under control, how to best optimally utilize this area so that the Air Force aircraft can also fly through, the army in case they want to fly can go through, as well as drone are operating, as well as surface to air missile operating. This kind of coordination we should look for more.
Good, sir. I mean, it's a good thing. Good points have come out. Now let's move, sir. Afghanistan, but we will come back again, sir. Let's go on to China, sir. I mean, the amount of the capability of air power which our nation has got, sir. Are we, sir, in a position to counter China, sir, keeping the large number of inventory of the aircraft held by the flaps, sir? Are we in the comfortable zone, sir, or we need some more funds to be coming up?
Sir, China has got the biggest disadvantage that the Tibetan Plateau, the general height is about 10,000 feet. So it is 10 to 15,000 feet. That is the elevation at which the Tibetan Plateau is. And this is the place, as you keep going higher, you as an aviator will understand that the engine power is not sufficient, or more than engine power, the air starts becoming thinner. So the aircraft needs much longer runway to get airborne. And in case you don't have long runway, then you cannot carry that much of load. Then the aircraft has to be a very light to get airborne. So this is a geographical God-given thing which Chinese cannot do much. So now when we look at the Chinese air power, other than the latest aircraft which they have J-20 etc., rest all the aircraft will be handicapped when they start flying from the Tibetan Plateau. Whereas on the other side, most of our airfield, other than few of them which are in Kashmir, are almost at the sea level, just about 200 meters or something of that kind. So we don't have that issue. When we get airborne, we can get airborne with full fuel and fully loaded and can reach there in almost in same time as Chinese can reach, but in a much capable fashion. This part China cannot take away. The other thing is our supply lines, as far as the Air Force is concerned, is very short. But China, if you realize, they are sitting in Tibet and mainland further back. Anything that we destroy in the Tibetan Plateau, it will be very difficult for Chinese to maintain it or repair it. It could be a runway, it could be their ammunition dump, it could be their fuel dump, anything which is supporting their war-making potential. So that's why I feel that Air Force will be in the good position to counter China, and Chinese Air Force, although very potent, they have got very good surface to air weapons also, but then there is a limitation to where all they can deploy those weapons.
Correct. I mean, so it's not the actually the numbers. It's actually the how better operability you can say. That's what will actually matter, and that will be a better winning war winning factor rather than having more number or large number of.
Yeah,
आपका
yes.
ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. Okay, sir. And now, sir, we come down to our production line, sir, of a fighter aircraft. I mean, Tejas एक already है. How good is Tejas, sir, once we compare with the other, let's say, the latest Rafale, sir?
Sir, each aircraft, whatever aircraft has is there in Air Force, or whatever aircraft Air Force procures, has got a different role. The job which Su-30 can do, Rafale cannot do. The job Rafale can do, Jaguar cannot do. The job Jaguar can do, the other aircraft cannot do. So LCA has got its own role, and LCA is in its role, it is comparable to any new aircraft in the world. The biggest advantage with the LCA is that Atmanirbhar thing. It is our own. We can load any equipment on that aircraft. Now, if you must have read in last 1 week or so, this news is coming that the Astra missile is can be loaded on LCA. Once the Astra gets integrated with the LCA, it can shoot. It can be in comparison to any of the US missile. The aircraft can be as potent. It is aircraft is just a platform. It is also important what is loaded on that platform. And if what is loaded is Indian and is as potent as anything else, the aircraft can counter any other aircraft. And LCA is a dream aircraft to fly, totally pilot friendly, very easy to fly, and our Indian.
Okay, so it's a quite I would say advanced and a much better aircraft to fly. I mean, it's not of course like you brought out. I mean, each aircraft has got a different role. उसी role के लिए फिर वो बना हुआ है. But seeing Tejas LCA जो अपना रहा है, so that's a wonderful thing. And the more the best part is of course the indigenization of even everything, even the armament of all these things. But what would the engines? I mean, are we able in a position to develop much better engines, or we still have to import something? Because our material part is quite little. We are low in quality wise.
So this LCA Mark 1, which is presently there are 2 squadrons which are flying, they flew with a particular US engine which was imported. Now, you remember about 3-4 months back when Prime Minister, about a month back when Prime Minister went to US, and there a deal has been signed that a much more advanced engine will be manufactured in India.
In India.
So now this is a technology which is coming to India. And now
time where the Americans are going to transfer the technology also, otherwise they never did it.
Never did it earlier. So now the next lot of the Mark 1A of this thing, LCA, which are going to come, they will be with the new engine probably. And in case they're new engine, then it becomes that much more powerful. And the story doesn't end there. They already planned, the scientists, pilots are already working on Mark 2, LCA Mark 2 and MCA. These are 2 new aircraft, and hopefully when all these aircraft come up, there will not be any requirement ever to import any fighter aircraft from outside.
That will be a great set. I mean, great. And of course, we need to little increase our production level also. So that keeping in mind the threat which is building up in the Indo-Pacific Ocean and across our northern borders also, we need to little hasten up our production level. Sir, we'll come back to the Afghanistan thing, and especially you have been an air attache there. With your experience, I would like एक बात सर हमारे दिमाग में हमेशा से ये रही है कि मतलब what was so hurry for इतनी क्या जल्दी थी for the US forces to leave billions of dollars of the arms, ammunition, helicopter. Look at those equipment which they left and they just भाग गए सर वहाँ से. मतलब what was the reason sir? ऐसा क्या हुआ? They could have delayed it. They could have tied up with the Taliban. After all, उनके साथ ट्रीटी तो करी थी. तो ऐसा क्यों कर दिया?
So that thing, it puzzles me also because we from India have invested a lot in Afghanistan, but then US has had invested much more than us. I have seen even the US Army people or Defense Forces, they had a unit called PRC, Provincial Reconstruction Unit or something, a force or something of that kind. Now, these army officers used to talk to village elders and build schools for them, build small bridges for them, and help them build the houses for them, build the hospitals for them. So, US has also invested a lot. And when they withdrew, that time there were hardly just about 2,000 US personnel in Afghanistan. They had stopped fighting Taliban in 2014 itself. From 2014 onwards, they were just in support, they were mentoring, they were providing air support to Afghan forces. So there was no, and there hardly less than 10 or 12 people who died since 2014 till 2021 as far as the Western forces were concerned. Rest of the deaths were all Afghan. So there was really no requirement. But if you look from the nation side, there was nothing much to be achieved in Afghanistan. Because Pakistan was there and Imran Khan was there, and it was like US was getting blackmailed kind of thing, that we will not let you go, or we'll let you go only in case you do like this. They couldn't have gone. They couldn't have gone to Afghanistan from the Russia side, so it was kind of landlocked. Now, if you have to say appease Russia or Pakistan, to what gain? There was nothing left for them to. They had gone for a purpose. Initially, if you remember, initially they had gone because Taliban had refused to hand over Osama bin Laden. So they said, if you are helping Osama bin Laden, then we will not let you rule. So they went there. Taliban got overthrown. Over a period of time, Osama bin Laden got caught and got killed. After that, there was no purpose for them to be there. It was an additional task that US took over on nation building, but it was not, that was not the original aim. So there was nothing for them to gain. So that's how they pulled out. Although it could have been done in a much better fashion, probably they did not anticipate that the Afghan forces, which were trained for good about 20 years under Western concept, will fall so easily and so fast.
Yes,
because they didn't leave all this armament for the Taliban. They left it for Afghan forces for them to be used.
And they didn't visualize कि ये जो है, this could be taken over by the Taliban so easily.
So easily. And if you, because I was there, if you look from the Afghan forces side, Taliban are also Afghani. Afghan forces are also Afghani. Taliban are Pashtun. About 45% Afghanistan is Pashtun. The entire fight between Taliban and these Afghan forces was that Taliban was saying these Americans should not be here, and these Afghan forces were supporting government that Americans will be here because Afghan government wanted it. But when Americans left Afghanistan, there was no reason to fight between the Afghan forces and them. At the end of it, both were Pashtuns, both are coming from the same village. Probably one brother is Taliban and one brother is there. So they said that our fight was only that Americans are there or should not be there. Now, if the Americans are not there, now why should we fight? And they just melted away.
Correct. It's a very good in-depth, sir, you have brought out to why this actually happened. I mean, one can understand the position of the American troops. Now, let's say, even like you mentioned, sir, India also had invested a lot in the Afghanistan. But when they moved out, and of course, when the Taliban took over Afghanistan, the relationship between India and Afghanistan again nosedived. We have still not recognized the Taliban government as such. What should be in view of, sir, how should be the relationship between these two countries, keeping the strategic importance of Afghanistan? Of course, Pakistan also tried to have a sympathized type of a government there, so that they can have a strategic depth. China is now trying to take an inroad into it through their BRI project, and a lot of treaties भी इनकी आपस में हो रही हैं sir. So how should be India relation with Afghanistan, sir, in future from now on, so that we don't lose our these important assets which are here, which we have created, and how it should be?
So India followed a very good policy right from the beginnings. When communists came in Afghanistan, that was in late 70s. Before that also, India was friendly to Afghanis when King Zahir Khan was there. We were friendly to Afghanistan.
We had good history से पहले से ही अच्छी relation.
True, sir. Yes. All the Afghani people used to come and sell dry fruits and pomegranates in India. And Kabuliwala, there is a movie also, Kabuliwala long backs. So we were very friendly. Our friendship with Afghanistan was person to person. I'll say population to population. We didn't have a transactional thing with Afghanistan, or we didn't have any war fighting thing with them, or any military alliance with them. Yeah. In fact, when I was in Afghanistan, the embassy all the time insisted and all the time brought it out that our only aim is for the Afghanistan to prosper, or yeah. Afghanistan to become an independent country, Afghanistan to become more wealthy, and its people should prosper and they should be educated more. That was our aim. So we built people to people contact. That people to people, in fact, when the previous government was there, there are thousands of Afghan students who used to come to India and study in our engineering colleges and our medical colleges, our computer centers. They used to come to India to learn English also. Yeah. So this kind of friendship that we have built from people to people, it will always be helpful for us. We must remember that we don't have any direct boundary with Afghanistan. We have to go through either Pakistan, or we have to go through Iran and then across. We have also built a road which connects the Afghanistan main necklace road to the Iranian road network from Jaranj to Delaram. Jaranj is towards Iran side and Delaram is towards Afghanistan side. And from Chabahar port that India is building, from there the goods can be taken through Iran in the up to that necklace road, and from necklace road it goes up to Turkmenistan or Tajikistan and all, and can
help in the recent formation of this India, Middle East, Europe का ये जो corridor जो बनने जा रहा है sir.
That will be another corridor, and this, in case Chabahar port etc. comes up and things cool down in Afghanistan, it will be a much easier way to go to the Central Asia rather than going to Pakistan, which has got very restrictive border where the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa etc. are there. So our contact is people to people, and it has always come in good state. Presently also, the present Taliban government wants Indians to come and complete all the infrastructure projects and all other thing that we are doing out there. They are telling us, they are requesting us to come. But I think government is waiting for the things to crystallize more, and then they will go. But we should maintain this people to people contact, so that we have strategically our purpose will get served in case Afghanistan becomes independent and Afghanistan becomes strong. We just don't want anything other than that. And all the Afghanis also want Afghanistan to, whichever government comes in Afghanistan, they will like Afghanistan to become strong and independent.
In fact, that's why the talks are also there. You know, you have their embassies now. वो चल रहा है सर उस पे अभी. And with the relationship now they are having with Pakistan, initially काफी close था, but now the way the situation is, so Pakistan will slowly get off from the Afghanistan side. वो अपने दिमाग से इनको हटाना पड़ेगा. So and I think India should actually make inroads and get back to the.
that is where we have advantage. So we want the Afghanistan to become independent, Afghanistan to become strong. Pakistan always want Afghanistan to be weaker, and the government in Afghanistan to be should always be subservient to government in Pakistan.
puppet गवर्नमेंट चाहेंगे कि जो हम हमारे हुक्म पे चलें वो लोग
हमारे हुक्म पे चले. तो with that no Afghani will like it for a very long time. So we will always have advantage, and we must stick to that, this people to people contact.
Thank you very much, sir. In fact, you gave a lot of insight into the Afghanistan, and I took advantage of that since you have been there as a air attaché and you have got a detailed knowledge about that, and of course the strategic and the all those things. You have the various appointments you had a very handful career, sir. You have been very busy. Tell me, sir, one last question. I just wanted to know how did you maintain a balance between your official commitment or your career as well as the home front requirements, sir?
Sir, I must confess that like in Air Force, everything is a teamwork. And I must confess that I had full support of my parents. I had full support of my wife. I never had to look back in the time Poonam is there. I never had to look back that what is happening at home. Are the kids studying or they are not studying, and who is doing what, and daughter is to get admission somewhere or the son has to go get admission somewhere. Poonam looked after everything.
That's an independent.
My responsibility was only to sign the check in case it is required or pay some money somewhere. Otherwise, rest everything, the household as an organization, my wife looked after.
Very good, sir. And in fact, hona bhi chahiye, because as a flyer, you have to be totally tension free as far as the home front is concerned. And that's what made you a good, successful flyer, sir, I must say, and a successful leader, sir, in the Air Force.
So I'll tell, like in your SSB also, for all the kids, every time it is not the individual who is important. It is the team and the teamwork which is important. Absolutely. In case you have a ability to maintain a good team or make a good team, you will always be successful.
Always.
Even the brightest person alone cannot do much.
In fact, that's what are the social factors also which are checked in a candidate once he comes for the SSB. So it's great to have you, sir, on our show, sir. It was a pleasure speaking to you, and I'm quite sure the viewers would have benefited with the large scale of the variety of things which we discussed, indigenization as well as your personal experience, the various types of aircraft, and the Afghanistan, China. We have discussed almost everything, sir. I'm quite sure the viewers. So please don't forget to subscribe and do like this channel and give your comments as to give your feedback, in fact. And on this day, sir, Air Force Day, I wish you, sir, once again a very happy Air Force Day. And all those Air Force people who are watching this program, this show, a very happy Air Force Day to you all. Thank you very much, sir. With this, these are the thing. And chalte, sir, I mean, would you like to say anything to our viewers or our youngsters to motivate them, sir, to join the Air Force, sir?
The Air Force is the best thing that could have happened to me. So I not only Air Force, I'll say the armed forces. I'll request all the youngsters. What do you want to do when you are at 21 or you are 22 or you are 20 or 24, 25? Okay. What do you want? You want independence to do some work on your own. You want to achieve something. You want to have pride in yourself. You want to do something important. That is the work side. After work, you want a comfortable stay, you want good food, you want a good company, you want all kind of facilities. Why go anywhere else? The armed forces are the one which are giving you all these.
Best of it.
So in that is the best thing. You want to learn about discipline, you want to learn about being helpful, you want to learn about being patriotic. Whatever good that you want to learn, please join armed forces.
And armed forces gives you everything, all these things.
They give you everything. They can teach you everything. They will give you all kind of facility. There is no stress in the armed forces. Otherwise, I have friends who are in the civil side, and I have seen all of them get
अरे बहुत
like have got older much faster than me.
बहुत प्रेशर है सर, a lot of stress, target management, बहुत मुश्किल है. So thank you very much, sir, with all those motivational words. I'm quite sure the youngsters of today and all those who are watching, who will watch the show, I mean, they will get benefited, sir. Thank you very much, sir, once again, and a really great salute to you, sir, and wish you a very, very happy Air Force Day. Nothing could have been great in speaking to you, to an excellent Air Force officer on the Air Force Day. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you for joining.
Thanks a lot, sir. It has been a privilege and honor to talk to you and come on your show, and wish you all the best, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. And on behalf of the Defense Academy, we wish you all the very best, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.